It's it's Wednesday, October the 8th, 2025, and the New York Jets are currently in London as they prepare to take on the Denver Broncos this weekend. And to honor the late, great Douglas Adams, I thought I would describe the upcoming game this way. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has this to say about American football in England. It's a bit like watching two spaceships from opposite ends of the galaxy attempt to communicate by hurling oblong meteorites at one another, while a crowd of carbon-based life forms screams encouragement, eats questionable meats, and wears the hides of their favorite combatants. This Sunday on improbably green turf of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a venue named, presumably, after a long-extinct bird or particularly flamboyant kitchen utensil, the New York Jets will meet the Denver Broncos in a transatlantic collision of confusion, hope, and misplaced optimism. The Jets, a team who have spent much of their recent history searching for the answer to life, the universe, and a functional offense, arrive carrying both high expectations and an air of existential dread. Their quarterback, Justin Fields, continues his quest to find the fabled consistency drive rumored to exist somewhere near the 20-yard line, though no explorer has ever returned to confirm it. The Broncos, meanwhile, are a team devoted to the ancient art of disappointment alchemy, transmuting golden preseason hopes into base metal by mid-October. They arrive led by Bo Nix, a man who spent so much time in college he still thinks he has to have a major at this point in time. Both sides will look to impress the British crowd, who are famously puzzled by why a football game involves so little actual foot and so many men in armor standing around discussing philosophy with referees. And yet somewhere in the midst of all this, amid the punts, penalties, and philosophical despair, someone will score, the crowd will cheer, and for one brief shining moment, the absurdity of it all will make perfect sense. Final prediction from the guide: in the end, it won't matter who wins, because the true victory will belong to anyone who remembered to bring a towel. Well, the Jets are in London, and that's for Douglas Adams, the late, great Douglas Adams. But now let's get to Jets news. We got an injury report. Everybody. So a couple of interesting things. Jermaine Johnson may be back, though he did not practice today. If he's a DNP tomorrow, that's no bueno. So the injury report says it's an ankle. At one point, Aaron Glenn said it was a calf. So nobody really knows. But hopefully we get him back, because we need him very, very badly. Not that he's going to solve all the problems, but it would help to have Jermaine Johnson back. Similarly, it would not help if Quinnen Williams were injured. He was limited today with a groin injury, so hopefully he's not too serious. But also Jamarcus Weston, remember him? He had his 21-day practice window opened. And so he might be back, probably not for this game, but maybe next week he'll be ready to go. And he's more of a special teamer. We'll see if they find a spot for him on the defense. He's a guy who did all sorts of things in college. They list him as a linebacker, but he's played defensive end and linebacker and special teams and all these things. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him once he gets back, and also whose roster spot he's going to take. So that's it as far as the injury report goes. The next thing is Justin Fields. What have I told you? Justin Fields had some very interesting statistics. I posted this up on my on the posts section of the YouTube channel. Posts are things, they're similar to, I don't know, the Facebook wall or something. But YouTube does not feature it that much. But I post stuff all the time, mostly for the members, but sometimes for Gen Pop. And if you look at this right here, you can see that this is a table sorted by completion percentage over expected. And it's interesting because Fields is 14th in the league. And you see all these people at top, and you're like, okay, Darnold's having a great year. Goff's having a great year. Jones, May, Prescott, Love. Stroud's a little surprising. Josh Allen, okay. Even Tua's here. Wentz have been up and down, but I guess overall good. And the idea with CPOE is it's like, how much better are you than what we would expect you to be passing the ball? Because we all know that Fields is great running and all that. So his problem, of course, is the passing part. But his completion percentage is the highest of his career, 67%. His CPOE is 14th in the league. Better than like Herbert and Smith and Rattler and Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers is way down here. And then you look at his ADOT, it's perfectly fine. The average depth of target, 7.4. You can see it's a little low, but, not too bad. And then his Anya average net yards per attempt is also okay, not great. You can see how it compares to these other dudes. And it's not wonderful or amazing, but it's kind of like, okay. So the question is, is this because of garbage time, or is it because you could look at it two ways? These stats were all accumulated in garbage time, therefore this should be thrown out. The other thing you could say is, well, wait a minute, our pass protection has been worse than expected, and as the line gels, I guess. But Olu's been disappointing. Membu had a bad game this last game, otherwise been great. But so if we had better, so these are the numbers he's putting up with bad pass pro. What numbers could he put up with if he had good pass pro? So you could look at it either way. Let me know in the comments which way you look at it. Now, speaking of that, I did listen to the Rich Cimini podcast. I know I shouldn't do it. The guy is such a scumbag. But on the other hand, he's had to cover a very bad team for a very long time. So can you really blame him? Now, a couple of little insights from the podcast. It does seem like if the defense, continues to be terrible, which it has been, Steve Wilks will be the fall guy once again in his career. I'm sure he's not going to be happy about it. This will be yet another one and done for Steve Wilks. But who else could take the fall? The offense has been up and down. They've had some unfortunate, fumbles and things, but has looked good at times. And so you're not going to get rid of Engstrand. Certainly not, especially when he doesn't have a great quarterback, in my opinion. We'll get to that in a second. And so who's left? It's Wilks. And Wilks has not been good. And he even said that he's spoken to a couple of players, and it seems like, of course, it was all off the record and stuff, but it seems like the players are not buying into what Wilks is selling. So that was a report that's a pretty damning report, but even by Chimney. I don't think he's making that up. I don't think he's just going to throw Steve Wilks under the bus for no reason. So he's saying the players are not buying into whatever Wilks is selling them. And so, looks like we got our blame. But, if I were Wilks, I'd say, you gave me no players. You didn't give me anybody. What do you want me to do with these people? And then JJ and Quincy got hurt. What do you want me to do? But Wilks is also the one who said the defensive bus will be driven from the back, and that's retarded. Now, the other thing, so it looks like Wilks is the fall guy. If that's what Chimney's reporting, that's probably what it's going to be. Now, the other thing he said, and we now have two beat reporters saying that Fields is viewed as a bridge quarterback. Now, Chimney, just like Connor Hughes, put it in his opinion, but these people oftentimes will tell you their opinion based on off-the-record conversations they're having, and then they can go back and say, see, I told you. Meanwhile, they had the information from the Jets. It's just that the Jets said, hey, don't put this out publicly, but you can say it's your opinion, right? One of the many ways the media fucks with your head, just so you know. So I think what that means is, unless there's like a huge turnaround and Fields turns into something we just haven't seen, if he plays the rest of the games like he did the Pittsburgh game, barring some miracle like that, looks like we're going to be picking a quarterback in round one. And that's what he said on the pod. So that means, we're going to be going into all of these quarterbacks. Now, that's why I have created the Frankie quarterback grading system. If you want to help out, you can join the channel. I'll give you all the tools, and that way we can all grade these people, because I'm not going to be able to grade everybody. I'll give you an example. This weekend, starting at 12 o'clock p.m., There's games where I want to grade the quarterbacks. Then there's another one at 3:30. Then there's another one at 7:30. So I'm going to be grading quarterbacks basically from noon until midnight. And that's only going to get me 6 quarterbacks graded. We got to grade a ton of these dudes. And then you got to grade multiple games of theirs. You can't just grade one game and be like, I know what he is now. No, you don't. You need at least 5. At least 5 before you should have a real hard opinion on anybody. And that's the minimum. You should really have way more than that. But so think about joining. There's a join button down below. We got a $2 level, a $5 level, $9 level a month, $2 a month. I think you can afford it. Just about any budget could afford that. But then again, I know times are tough for a lot of people. Not some people don't have any extra money at all. But if you do, you might want to consider it because we could form what I'm calling the Jets unpaid scouting department. We could come up with educated opinions about these players based on what we're seeing, and then having the system to grade them properly, which is what the system is for. So that way, and it's very easy to do, it's not hard, and that way we'll really know which guy should we pick. Is it Mendoza? Is it Sellers? Is it one of these other guys? We got to figure this out. So that way we could just kind of not have these endless arguments. We can all have a good knowledge of who it really should be. Carson Beck, maybe. So consider that. The join button down below. $2 a month. I think it's pretty reasonable. And you get tons of other stuff as well. Exclusive videos and a whole bunch of other things. All right, so enough with the shilling, Frankie. Yeah, well, all right. So this is FSPN, and that's all I got for this Wednesday, October the 8th, 2025. I will see you next time.